There used to be a simple deal, almost a sacred one. Work hard, get a steady job, buy a home, retire comfortable. For decades, that deal actually held. Your parents or grandparents probably lived some version of it. And right now, quietly, that deal is breaking in half. The middle is splitting into two groups. A small number quietly pulling up and away, and a much larger number slowly sliding down. And the gap between them is widening faster than at any point in living memory. But here's what I need you to hear, because it's the whole reason I'm making this. Which side you land on is still, mostly, your choice. It comes down to a small handful of decisions. So let me show you why the middle is disappearing, and the exact moves that put you on the right side of it, before the gap gets too wide to cross. First, why did the old deal stop working? Because it's not random, and it's not your fault. For most of the last century, a salary was enough. Wages rose, prices rose, and they roughly kept pace. So a hard worker could steadily build a life on a paycheck alone. Then something quietly shifted under everyone's feet. Wages mostly flattened out. They crawl up a few % a year if you're lucky. But the price of the things that actually build wealth, homes, businesses, the stock market, those kept sprinting ahead, year after year, leaving wages further and further behind. So picture two people, same job, same salary, same city. One spends what he earns and keeps a little cash in the bank, feeling responsible. The other takes a slice of that identical salary every single month and buys ownership. Small pieces of the market. 10 years later, those two are not in the same place. They're not even in the same world. Same income, completely different lives. Decided entirely by what they did with the gap. That is the real split, and I need you to see it clearly. This is not the old story of rich versus poor. It's owners versus earners. And here's the part that stings. You can have a good job, a solid salary, do everything you were ever told to do, and still quietly drift toward the bottom. Why? Because a paycheck alone no longer compounds. It comes in, it goes out, it resets to zero every month, forever. Ownership compounds. It grows on top of itself year after year, whether you show up that day or not. One is a treadmill. You run harder and harder and stay in exactly the same spot. The other is an escalator. You stand still, and it carries you up. Most people are sprinting on the treadmill, exhausted, watching the people on the escalator glide past, and assuming those people must be smarter, or luckier, or born into it. They're usually not. They just stepped onto a different machine and never told you that you could too. So how do you cross over? It starts in your head, with one shift. Most people see money as something you earn and then spend. The people pulling ahead see money as something you earn and then convert into assets that go on earning for them, around the clock, while they sleep, while they're on holiday, while they're sick. Your salary is you working for money. Assets are money working for you. And until some of your money is out there working the night shift on your behalf, you're stuck doing all the lifting yourself for the rest of your life. Now, here's where most people sabotage the whole thing. And the worst part is, it feels like success while it's happening. Every time their income goes up, their spending creeps up to match it. A raise becomes a nicer car. A bonus becomes a bigger apartment. A promotion becomes a more expensive everything. More money in, more money out. So the gap between what they make and what they keep never actually grows. They feel like they're climbing, surrounded by newer, nicer things. But financially, they're running in place. sometimes faster and more stressed than before. Breaking that one pattern on purpose, refusing to let your lifestyle swallow every raise the moment it arrives, is what frees up the fuel for everything else. It's the most important habit on this list, and almost nobody does it. So here are the moves, plainly. Spend less than you earn, and guard that gap like it's the most important number in your life. Because it is. Pay yourself first, before any bill, before any temptation, so that money is gone and growing before you can spend it. Take that money and buy ownership, broad pieces of the market, assets that rise with the economy instead of getting crushed by it. And start now, in small, consistent amounts, because the one advantage nobody can ever give back to you is time. And before you tell yourself you can't afford to begin, today you can start owning a slice of the market for about the price of a coffee. The app I use to do it is linked below. Starting isn't the hard part anymore. Deciding to start is the only hard part left. This is the quiet truth of the next 10 years. The middle class isn't vanishing because of some disaster or bad luck. It's splitting along a single line. The people who own and the people who only earn. You don't need to already be wealthy to cross that line. You need to start acting like an owner before you feel like one. While the crossing is still cheap and still easy. Quick note, this is education, not financial advice. Your money, your call, always. But if this finally put words to that uneasy feeling you've had about where everything is heading, subscribe. The next video is the exact first 3 steps to step off the treadmill and onto the escalator, even if you're starting from absolute zero. Today. I'll see you there.